Friday. Hope you guys are doing well. Hello. Hey, Cha-Cha. You guys, how are you doing? All right. So I am here, ready. All right. So before we begin, of course, if you're going to ask a question, well, actually, let me do my whole spiel, though. So my statements are personal opinions based on intuitive impressions, feelings, and assumptions that are not proven facts. Whatever decisions or actions you take in your life, you are 100% responsible and liable for that. You can change your future. It's never set in stone. And lastly, I am not a licensed medical doctor, counselor, attorney, or law enforcement official. You can still ask me those kinds of questions, but for legal medical advice or treatment, please consult a licensed professional. If you're going to ask me about yourself and your life, whether it's career and work, finances, relationships, or health, you need to be specific with your question. If you just ask me, what do I have to tell you, or what can I tell you, or what do I see, it's too general. I'm just going to skip you. I'm not even going to stop on you. So you need to be specific with your questions. If you are asking about a loved one in spirit, or you want me to connect with a loved one in spirit, let me know who you want to connect with, so I have a anchor to kind of go off of, and then I'll go ahead and try to connect with that person and get you some sort of message or information from that individual. If you just ask me, who do I see, or who's around you, I'm just going to skip you, because again, it's going to take time to figure out who may be coming through. So I'd rather just know who you want to talk to and try to connect with that person, and go off of the assumption that that's the person that's coming forward. If it's not that person, you'll figure it out pretty quickly that it's not that person. But anyways, there's that. What else? I'm trying to figure out everything that I need to tell you. I think that's it. I think that's all I need to tell you guys. By the way, it's not like I can see them or hear them. They are using my thoughts, my emotions, my memories. My job is to take all of the pieces that they're messing with and try to figure out what they're trying to say. They don't speak English. They're not using language to communicate with me. If they give me a name, they're going to give me something as close to what they're trying to tell me as possible. So I may not get the whole name. I may only get a portion of it. So y'all need to know that as well. Oh, look, I got a gray hair. All my grays are starting to come back out. What else? I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say. So I'm not going in any particular order. I'm going to be bouncing back and forth between Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. If you are on Facebook or YouTube, y'all might get some trolls popping in there. There are people who like to message you, and they ask you to message them directly or private message them, or if you want a reading or an accurate reading, to message them. Don't mess with those folks. Just report that person. You can click the little feature, just report them as spam, and then block them. That way, if there's enough people reporting them as spam, then it'll hit the system, and then the system will pretty much take that account out. So just FYI with that as well. I think that's it. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to do text version readings first, and then we'll kind of switch over to the video feed. If y'all want to be a video guest, y'all can request to do so on Instagram only, though, unfortunately. There's a little feature at the bottom with two little faces or two little people. You click that little button, it basically will let you request to be a guest on the Instagram when I bring people on. It only does it for phones, though, so it doesn't do it on the computer, I believe. It only does it on phones, so just FYI, y'all, okay? All right, so let me bounce around here. Andrea Butterworth Burnham. She's like, I just need to know if I am going to purchase the house I am looking at. I don't think so. I think what's going to happen is either you might submit an offer too late, or the offer, there may not be enough flexibility with the offer amount, and you may just decide it's not really something you're going to go for. So I'm not thinking you're going to, but almost 30 days later, a month later, you'll find another property, and I think that's going to fit you or suit you better. It also feels like it's a steal, so it would be something that would be worth a lot more, but the price might be down a little bit, and so you might get a really good opportunity there if you decide you have to go with this. Of course, you don't have to listen to me. You can totally ignore what I'm saying and just make the choice that you want to make, but that's what I'm seeing you doing, okay? Mickey Maurer. Ferny, can you tell me if my sister and her family and if my cousin Kelly are moving into my area, Hill Country, Austin area in Texas, anytime soon? When? Yeah, I actually think both will move to that area. One much closer than the other one. One I think will be moving closer to, I want to say it's your sister who might be moving closer to you, and I want to give that about 6 months before that's kind of like a done deal. The cousin might the cousin, for some, I don't know why I would see the cousin would move later, or there would be a delay in the cousin moving. I don't know if they live together, or these are two separate, like, living people with living situations. But I feel like the cousin moves later, and they may not actually move to the Austin area, or where your sister's going to be, or where you're going to be. They may actually be moving closer to Dallas, so there may be a connection closer to Dallas for some reason. Okay, and I would say that would happen about I want to say about 6 months to a year after the sister moves. So there may be, again, like a delay that happens there. Okay. Elizabeth Ann, hello, Ferny. What is causing these pains I'm constantly having in my left breast? So first of all, I am not a doctor, remember, so I don't have the power or the ability to diagnose. I can only tell you what my opinion is, personal opinion, not a professional opinion. Secondly, you need to take your butt to a doctor, because the first person you should be asking is a doctor, not a psychic. So I want you to take your butt to a doctor, okay? If you don't take your butt to a doctor within the next 30 days, I'm going to haunt your dreams, and I'm going to just continue to show up and continue to make you crazy until you decide to, okay, I'm fine, Ferny, I'm going to go to the doctor. So I'm just letting you know, you better go to the doctor, and I have that power, okay? With that being said, I feel like it has something to do with you regretting not having gone sooner. So you probably need to get your butt over there, okay? And I feel like it's like pressing up on a gland, because there's a gland right there, and I feel like it's kind of squeezing in on the gland as well. Let's see. Hilda Salinas. Hi, Ferny. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Are there any messages from my spirit guides? Will I ever move out of my neighborhood? You'll move out of your neighborhood in about 2 years. So it'll take you a couple of years before you move out of your neighborhood. 2.5 years. Not exactly 2 years, but around 2 years and 2 years and 3 months. As far as your spirit guides are concerned, they are wanting you to pay extra close attention to your finances, because they're acknowledging and making you feel like you either might be overcompensating, or you may be basically like helping others out when you should really be focusing on what you need to do for yourself. And so they're acknowledging that sometimes it is important to say no, to learn to say no to people. So they're kind of wanting to press you about that, okay? If you start a question with, what do you see for my future? That's it. That's a general question. Y'all need to be specific, like knock it down. Laura Lee Vela. Hi, Ferny. I'm with anxiety. Do you see me getting better? I do think you will feel better. I think it might take a little while, though, because I think that in December, you might try something different that might help you. Actually, I almost see you going and getting counseling, or being able to talk to a counselor who might help you with some coping mechanisms or some coping skills. And I feel like that comes up in December. So I'm thinking in December, you'll actually start seeing the opportunity to do something about it. You'll still have anxiety, but I feel like the counselor might just help you understand what you can do to cope with that anxiety. I also think that you might make a change with your diet in March or April of next year, because I feel like there might be a contributing factor to anxiety that has to do with one of two things. It's either the iodine that's affecting your thyroid, which I think you need to get checked anyways, or it could be the iron levels in your blood. But I feel like there's a contributing factor to your anxiety, so you might need to look into that or check into that. Okay. Okay, let's go over here. Aisha Cortez, I hope I said it correctly. Hey, Ferny, do you feel I'll have a relationship with the person, have a relationship with the person I truly feel for? Not this year. I kind of feel like you might get some mixed signals. If you're patient, you might get a chance to maybe try something out with this person by spring of next year, which is a while. But if you get frustrated or tired, or you start to get pushy, I would expect that it's not going to go very far. So be careful with that around the end of November going into December, okay? But I feel like if you're patient, you might have an opportunity in springtime. I feel like this person's not, either they're not 100% available or their mind is just not on it, and you might just have to wait. Mark VJR, do you see me in the future with Rena, who is in my life now? I can. I think that in about 7 months, some decisions have to be made that might have to do with like living situation or living circumstances, the home, etc. Some decisions may have to be made around 6 or 7 months from now. Around the time that that's happening, I feel like there's the opportunity to solidify or to like affirm the connection. If y'all decide to affirm it, if not, then I feel like that's it. So I think you've got 6 or 7 months to kind of solidify things, and then after that, I can see things moving forward or going on past that time. Gloria Sedgwick 05, who are my spirit guides? I think you only have one guide. His name is Patrick. I feel like it's Patrick, your main guide, okay? People always think that their guides are like spirit guides are family members who have passed away. No. Like spirit guides are usually never family members. Spirit guides are spirits that we have agreements with, that pretty much we decided some stuff with before we came into life. So it's someone that's got our main guide is usually the person that's with us from the beginning to the end. So a family member, if either we're a family member, that in a lot of situations that's not possible. There are secondary guides, but your main guide's name is Patrick. And Palami, hi Ferny, do you see me in any type of career or keep being a stay-at-home mommy? No, I think that you will get into a career. I actually think you'll get into, I want to say there's two things you might get into. One is I think you'll have the opportunity to contribute or to do something that has to do with like schools or children, because I keep seeing work associated with that. That may be a first, but then eventually I see you kind of going into insurance brokerage or an insurance broker. So I feel like at some point that you'll move in that direction. But that may not be for like 4 or 5 years, but I think in the next year and a half you'll start moving in the direction of taking on some work or doing some stuff that has to do with the school and kids, which may start off with your own kids anyway. So Amanda 30, hi Ferny, can you tell me if my mom is around me? I feel like I feel her at times and just wanted some clarification. Yes, she's around you. She sends butterflies, by the way. Wind chimes or the sound of bells are also going to be associated with her. She also keeps showing me an image or a picture, so I don't know if someone made or sketched a picture of her or someone took her picture and turned it into a tattoo, but there's something like that I think she's trying to make reference to. She also keeps acknowledging thank you. Thank you. Okay, she's showing me a collage. It's almost like I want to put a lot of pictures together in one big picture frame, because she's showing me something like that as well. So I don't know if you were recently doing that or you're trying to take copies and put it out on paper, but she's showing me that as well. She also keeps acknowledging sometimes like whenever like I'll set my phone down or I'll do something, like my phone will come on and then I'll start to hear like music or sounds or something like that. Sometimes it could be the sound of birds, it can be the sounds of canaries, it can be like a bird whistling or something whistling. I don't know if you had something happen where the phone, there was like a whistling sound coming from your phone, or it was doing something odd or weird, but I'm seeing that. So there's something like that she's trying to make reference to. She also keeps acknowledging the 2 candles. So I don't know if you bought 2 candles in memory of her, or there are 2 candles in memory of her, because she's acknowledging that as well. She also keeps referencing thank you. I don't know if you have a scarf or something that goes around the head, like wrap around the head, or a scarf, but there might be something like that that might be connected to mom as well that you might have. Okay, she's around you though. Baby Bello. Hey Ferny, tomorrow is 3 months since my mom's passing. Does she have any messages for me or my fiance? Yeah, first of all, she's saying happy birthday. So I know you're talking about the 3 months since her passing, so it's going to be like a thing, but she's acknowledging happy birthday. So I don't know if one of you is within 30 days of a happy birthday, or so there's a birthday that's around, because she's acknowledging that, or breaking reference. Either that or she passed on the birthday, but she's acknowledging birthday, so she's bringing that up. She also keeps referencing releasing something for her. So I don't know if y'all release birds or balloons, or are planning on releasing balloons, but I feel like I'm seeing balloons going up. So there's a reference there as well, because she's acknowledging that. She also keeps talking about it's funny because she's putting something in your fridge. I don't know if she's trying to tell you you need to clean out your fridge and she's making a joke about that, or she's talking about something in your fridge that may have been hers or belonged to her, like a casserole dish or some sort of Tupperware or something like that. But she's just making a reference there. She also keeps showing me the Muppets. I don't know why I'm seeing the Muppets. I'm seeing the Muppets. So I'm seeing like Kermit the Frog and Miss Piggy. So I'm seeing all that stuff. So there's a connection or a reference there that I think she's trying to go with that. She also shows me the number 11, which is next month. 11th of a month, or the 11th. Current relationship, is there a future or is it over? There is an issue that is affecting his state of mind, so I'm curious what will happen. I don't think there is a future. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like this is probably not going to go on. I'm thinking that things may actually kind of fall apart by February. So I'm thinking by February things are going to kind of start to get worse. I also think there's some legal issues that may come up with him, and he may not be able to avoid them. So I'm thinking that that's going to play an additional role there as well. I know you're talking about something that is an issue that is affecting his state of mind. I actually think that the issue, I think that it's more complicated than that. I don't think it's just an issue affecting his state of mind. I think that there's actually something going on with his state of mind. And so mentally, he may actually need to be, he may need some support from like a doctor to stabilize. But then even though that, then you've got circumstances that are going to add to that as well. But I feel like it's a combination of things. I don't think it's just one thing. Okay. Almighty Anne. Hi Ferny, will I change my job next year? You'll have an opportunity to change it around the beginning of March or early or mid March, and it might be something as simple as like kind of doing the same thing but at a different location, or there may be a location change. It almost reminds me of like when I used to work at Starbucks and I just transferred to a different store. Like that's what it reminds me of. So there might be some sort of like transfer event or opportunity to switch over to another location. However, and you might try to do that in March, or that may come up as an option in March, but I actually think that either won't happen or you'll just like not to, and then you may have to wait until the summer of 2022 before you actually make another change or a bigger change, which is like completely different job or different, like it might even be a different field altogether, because I kind of feel like it just feels really drastically different in like mid 2022 versus like early next year. So I feel like there'll be a bigger change at that point, and that may even require or be an option for you to relocate at that time. Yash24111. Hey Ferny, how are you? When do I find my stable girlfriend or wife? I feel like you're about 2 years and 3 months now. 2 years and let's say 2 years. I feel like you're about 2 years away from getting involved with someone that I think it could totally work with. The problem is that you might have a tendency of being very intense sometimes, or get a little bit like, too much to deal with, and you need to work on that, because I feel like sometimes people don't understand your intentions, and it might be a little bit intimidating. So I think you need to work on that. But I think that in about 2 years or so, you'll meet somebody. Her name is it starts off T-H-A, Tath. I feel like it starts off T-H-A. I think it starts off with like T-H-A. So the name starts off with like T-H-A. I can't even grasp the full name, but it's almost like a T-H-A, okay? Michelle La Bella Vita. My fiance and I are wondering about our finances. We have a wedding planned in May, and we don't know what to expect. I still expect the wedding to happen. I think it might be a little downgraded, or there might be some changes where it's just not going to be to the full glory that it could be. If you wanted to wait an additional year, you probably could get to that full glory, but I still think that the wedding's going to happen. Y'all may get close to possibly changing it or canceling in February, but I think y'all will still stick with it, and then y'all will still do it. The Amberlyn, y'all are so funny. Amberlyn, Ferny, give yourself another haircut. Looking good, thank you. Yes, I just saw the question mark. I thought you were telling me to give myself. I'm like, girl, I just cut my damn hair. What are you talking about? Yeah, thank you. Yes, I did give myself another haircut. I messed up a little bit, like in some spots, but it's growing back. It's getting better, so I'm not worried about it. It's whatever you do. But any messages from my spirit guides? Also, when do you see me switching careers? Soon. Perfect. I see you switching careers in about 7 months. So we're in, don't remember, December, January, February, March, April. Around April-ish, maybe close to May. Around 7 months from now. I see you switching careers. Also, spirit guides. Your spirit guides, you need to be cautious with the people that you entrust. Especially with your current job situation. I mean, you're saying because you were just on your job, because you might need to be a little bit more careful or cautious, or not share as much with those people, just because I feel like some things might get misinterpreted, or some things could get twisted around, and then it can create some unnecessary drama. So you might need to be aware of like the way you're communicating with the people that you have to deal with at work. Okay. Cha-cha for me. Hope all is well. Any messages from my dad? Thank you. Yes. He is acknowledging thank you. Show me glasses. I don't know if your dad wore glasses, but he showed me glasses. I don't know if they're sunglasses, but he may just be acknowledging the glasses or the sunglasses. He also keeps referencing thank you. He's showing me a blue truck, or like I don't know if it's a blue truck or it's a Silverado. I feel like it's a blue truck or it's a Silverado. I'm seeing silver too, but I'm trying to figure out if it's blue or silver. But I'm seeing Silverado, but then I'm seeing blue, so I'm not sure what to go with that. But he's acknowledging that, so I don't know if you recently got a truck and he's acknowledging the new truck, or there's something going on with a truck that belongs to your dad and he's just acknowledging and bringing that up. He also keeps, thank you. He also keeps showing me there's a Tomasita or Tomasina or Tomasita. It could be Teresita or Tere, but I'm thinking it's Tomasita because he's giving me that name. So there might be someone connected to the family, either that might be in spirit or that might be with him, because he's bringing up that name. So that's what I'm thinking he's talking about. He also keeps acknowledging the 13th. So I don't know if the 13th of a month is significant or January 3rd is significant. He also keeps acknowledging thank you. You remember those little like I don't know, they're like caramel or It's like I feel like I'm looking at little caramel. So I don't know if your dad liked caramels or he was like a big fan of caramel, but I'm seeing these little like chocolate caramels or caramel things. But he's acknowledging this or making reference to this. It's almost like he's talking about like they're everywhere, they're everywhere. So he's acknowledging like all these being there as well. He also keeps acknowledging the belt. So I don't know if y'all ever got him a belt as a gift or y'all have his belt, but he's referencing like a belt and like what the significance of the belt. So he's just bringing that up as well. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's bring somebody on. Let's see. We're getting to that time anyway. Actually, let me answer a couple more here on this other side. Sonia Perez. Am I going to? Let's bring this down here. Am I going to physically see Jussie again? I don't think so. I'm going to say probably not because I'm not feeling confident about it. So I would say I would just let it be. Let it be. Felicia Sheed. I'm considering a move back to Houston. Do you see this as a good move for me? I think this will be a temporary move for about 4 or 5 months. So when you move back, you may only be moving back for 4 or 5 months before the opportunity comes up again to move. At that point, you might be moving away from Houston, so I don't think you'll stay in Houston, okay? But I do think it's good. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think you might have to, actually. Lola Lopez. Hi, Ferny. Can you please tell me tell me about my mother's jewelry? I think you're trying to say, was she wearing it when she took it to the hospital before she died? Honestly, I think that somebody at the hospital took it. I hate to say it. I feel like somebody at the hospital may have taken it or may have moved it or misplaced it and it ended up in like a lost and found and then it just kind of just like disappeared after that. So I'm kind of thinking that it's like dead and gone, but you may want to check with the hospital or file with the hospital, but I feel like it's been taken and I feel like she did have it when she went to the hospital. That's how I want to say it, okay? Okay, let's bring somebody on. Let's see who wants to come on. Let's see. Hello.
Hi.
How you doing, sweetheart?
Good, good.
What did you want to ask me?
Um, I wanted to know if um any families coming forward and if I'm ever gonna find like true happiness in life.
That's a very broad question. So when you say finds true happiness, what do you mean?
Like love.
So if you're ever going
Like
to find love in life, is that what you're asking me? Okay. So first of all, I'm going to tell you this, and you're probably not going to like it, but do not depend on other people for happiness. Because if you're waiting for someone to pop into your life to magically make you feel 100% better, that'll last but like 2 or 3 weeks, and then everything gets real, and then it's like, I hate this person, I want this person gone. So learn to love yourself before you have anybody come into your life. That way, when they come in, you're not going to put so much pressure on the relationship and you can actually appreciate the person for who they are, not for who you want them to be, and that way you have a way to make yourself happy. Okay, so I'm going to tell you that just so you know. With that being said, when are you actually going to meet somebody or get into a relationship? Interestingly enough, I think somebody may pop back into your life that you might have associated with or known a while back ago. I want to say it's 4+ years though, so this is like 4+ years a while ago. But someone might pop back into your life, and this is like the friend of a friend or the sibling of a friend or the cousin of a friend. So someone might pop back into your life who I actually think might be a good fit or might be a good match for you. It might take a while though, because I'm not seeing this right now. This might take another year and 7 or year and 8 months. It's going to be tricky because I feel like that person is either they're coming out of a relationship or they're in the middle of a divorce. And so it might be tricky and you might have to be patient. I totally see it being a possibility, But if you put too much pressure, again, put too much pressure on them, they may be like, no, like it's too much, and they're gonna push you away, and you missed out. So I feel like you kind of got to go play cool, like, no, it's cool, it's whatever's up, it's whatever's going, And then I think that can kind of give them a sense of like you're actually a break from that craziness instead of you being like, oh, well, she's just as bad as the other one. So you don't want to fall into that category with them.
Right.
And who do you want to connect with?
Um, I don't know. I have an uncle that passed away.
Okay.
I don't.
Let me see. Let me see. There are 5 males in spirit. Do you have? Yeah, there are 5 males in spirit. Are both your grandpas passed?
Yes.
Okay. And then do you have 3 uncles who are actually passed?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to assume that the one uncle that you're asking me about might be the uncle that's trying to get that I'm kind of fixating on. He keeps doing this. Was he not able to eat, or did he stop eating because he keeps doing this? Okay. He also keeps acknowledging that it hurt. And did he have a bag, or did he have to like pee into a bag or use the bag? Because he's like, I hate it. So he's almost like very aware that this was not the easiest or funnest experience to go through. But he's acknowledging, he's like, I need an award, or someone needs to give me, someone owes me money, because he's acknowledging like he went through all of that and it was not easy. But at the same time, he's like, I'm here and I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. So he's wanting to acknowledge that. Is he your mom's brother?
No, my dad's.
Okay. So he wants to bring up your mom. Was he close to your mom, or did your mom have a?
She
Okay.
cared for him while he was.
Got it. Because he's specifically wanting to acknowledge your mom. So if she took care of him, he's probably wanting to thank her or acknowledge how much that she did for him, and also apologize because he didn't make it easy on her, and he was sometimes very stubborn or hard-headed. So he's acknowledging that as well. Was he a bit of a drinker when he was alive? Was she buying him the fake beers or the other kind of beers that are like non-alcoholic?
I don't know.
Okay, because he's doing this with her, so I don't know, unless she like secretly gave him beer because she knew he was already going to go, and she gave him a break, but he's just acknowledging this, making me feel like this was part of the problem. Had he done something with this earlier, had they talked to him about needing a transplant or needing a kidney?
No.
Okay. There might have been something that they talked about, or a doctor may have mentioned that had this been caught sooner, or had they done something about this sooner, he could have probably gotten a transplant, or maybe the kidney wouldn't have been affected the same way. But there's something about that he's making reference to. He also, thank you. Do you have a mustache? Yeah. Because I feel like this and I want to touch his mustache, so he's doing this. So he's with you. He's with you. There's a baby with him in spirit as well. So there's a child that was miscarried, lost, or terminated. He's letting whoever's child that is know that the baby's with them and not to worry.
Can you ask him if he forgives me for not being there when he passed?
He's making a joke of it. Are you known in the family like you don't always show up on time, or you kind of show up whenever, and then so sometimes you're not there when everybody else is there at events? Okay. He's making a joke, or he's making fun of how he's almost making a joke about it. Almost like, here's an example for me. My family does this with me because I just stroll in whenever I want, and I'm like, oh, Ferny can stroll in whenever, But that's just the way I am. But I'm always going to be there for a good amount of time. He's making a joke about this, so I don't know. First of all, he's not taking it in the way that you've taken it. So for you, it might have been a bad thing or a big thing. He's not even acknowledging that at all. For him, it was more like making fun of you, like you being the princess, or like, oh, you couldn't be boss. So he's almost messing with you or trying to joke with you. He's fine. He's not upset with you at all. So I don't think and he's the one dropping the coins. If you find pennies or coins in random places, that's him.
Okay.
Okay. All right, sweetheart. You take care of yourself, okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Mama. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, let's see. Let's do Barbara. Hello. How are you?
Fine. I'm so excited to connect with you.
Oh, well, good. Excellent. Excellent. Well, what did you want to ask me?
I would love to hear from my my adoptive parents.
Okay.
I've never heard from my mom and my dad.
Got it. So there are 3 females, and they've also got 2 males. Is your biological mother also passed?
Yes.
Okay. She's making her presence known. And then there's another mother figure. Did you also have an aunt who was kind of like a mother figure?
Yes,
Or
her
that's
twin,
it?
her
So,
twin.
yeah, so the 3 females are there. So the 3 mother figures to you are there. Your mom is wanting to let you know that, first of all, she says, you look just as beautiful. Don't worry, don't worry. So I don't know if you've been like giving yourself a hard time. And she's like, you look just as beautiful. Don't worry, don't worry. Thank you. Your adopted mother, she's also doing this around her wrist. Do you know there's a bracelet or something because she's acknowledging that? Do you also have the 2 rings? Actually, 3 rings because she's acknowledging 3 rings.
I don't have her ring.
That's okay.
I have her bracelets.
Got it. So she's acknowledging the bracelet. There are 3 rings that are also connected or maybe significant. No, you know what? She's still. I'm asking about the rings. Did she ever gift you 3 separate rings on 3 separate occasions?
Which, no, this is my adoptive mother,
Yeah.
my biological.
I'm thinking your adoptive mother.
I don't know. I don't have her rings. The bracelets I do have of my
Okay.
my biological mother.
Okay, that's okay. They're wanting to acknowledge the bracelets, but there's also 3. There's either 3 rings or rings and 3. So I don't know what the combination is, but she's referencing that. She also keeps referencing. Thank you. Is there a Dottie or Diddy or Dottie or Dodie name connection?
There's Doreen. I'm the daughter. Dor. Like, but I also, yeah, Dor.
Oh,
Doreen.
okay. And is there another D?
Well, Daddy is like.
No. I think it might be. But did they call you by a nickname like Dory or Dari or?
No, Tiki. Tiki
No.
is my.
Huh.
Is my,
I mean, they might be trying to give me. They might be trying to give me your name, and I'm totally like getting that all twisted in my head. But the way I want to. So the reason why I came up with Dottie. Do you remember the movie A League of Their Own with Gina Davis?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a character named Dottie, which is why her name was Dottie.
Oh my God, my mom was the queen of baseball, softball. She coached softball.
Ah, that's it. So she's acknowledging a league of because that's why I got Dottie from like why am I
and her best girlfriend in St. Louis that I grew up with was Dottie, whom I loved, and she wore the same perfume and smoked just like my biological mother. And
Got it. So this is what they're doing. Your mom's laughing because she says they're playing baseball games up there and she's whipping everybody's ass. So she's almost like acknowledging, like beating everybody down.
If it had a bat, a ball, a scoreboard, a stick,
yeah,
a puck, she was on it.
That's funny. Well, she's enjoying herself. She's having a good time. She is. Thank you. Your biological mother. She's got a few things to say. First of all, she loves you and she wants to be absolutely crystal clear that you understand that she 100% loves you. She also wants you to know that life was not easy to her and that she just really couldn't cope and that she didn't feel that she could do that to you. So she almost feels like giving you away was actually a gesture of love, not necessarily because she didn't want you. Do you understand that? Okay.
Yeah, I have a letter she wrote.
Okay, got it. Because she wants to be absolutely clear. She also says that she. Okay. Are you a mom? Because she's referring to you as mom. Okay. Because she's like acknowledging you being a great mother or you are a great mother and that she says you're her hero. So your biological mom says you're her hero and that she 100% is so proud of you and that she's happy that you were loved the way that you were. Because she says, I made the right decision. So she's acknowledging that, but she says, I loved you and you were in good hands. Yeah. She also, she showed me the month of May. Is there a connection to the month of May or the 5th of the month?
You did this to, when we connect, you did reading, so my Nana, her mother, whom I never met, passed away on May 5th. My first Holy Communion was May 5th. So there's 5, 5, 5, 5, 5.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah, that's a lot of 5s. Okay. Got it.
And she was a novitiate in the convent, my biological mother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so and she left the convent, and so
got it. You might actually see 555 aligned in places and in times because they're showing me the number sequence 555 and then also 1111. So both of those are going to be popping up for you because they're acknowledging that. Who was in band or played the trumpet or played the flute?
Mommy! Oh my God!
Yeah, because I'm like hearing this, like, what's going on here? So she's doing this whole bit. So
Mommy played. Oh my God! My adopted mother played the trumpet.
She's like taking over the. She's like taking over the. So she's totally bringing through her personality. Wanted to make sure I get her. She says your daddy's here, so she's wanting to acknowledge daddy. Did he show? Is there a picture of you learning how to drive, or him teaching you, or like when you got your first car?
I don't really have a picture of me with him with the card.
No, he took a
used to
picture of
drive
you.
together.
Do you remember if he took a picture of you when you got your first car, or you got, because he showed me a picture of you, like it's his favorite picture.
Okay.
You would have had like, were you like a lot blonder when you were younger?
No, I'm pretty much the same. Going gray now, more blonder now.
Well, I'm seeing like a gold blonde, so I'm like a Goldie Honey blonde. So I'm seeing a blonder hair. But you were in the sun, and it looks kind of orangey blonde. So when you look in the sun in the picture, your hair was kind of like that. So there's a picture like this because they're showing me a picture. But you had just gotten your first car, or you may have just gotten a new car. But there was a picture that he's just acknowledging or making reference to. Your dad sends you birds, so birds are a symbol from him. Feathers are a symbol from him. He also says that he taps on the window or he taps on the door. So you might hear a weird tapping sound every now and then because he's acknowledging that. And the doorbell might even ring as well.
I actually asked for a sign for my spirit guides today. I don't even know what bird this would have come from, but I picked the neighbor's dog up, walked on their driveway. There was nothing there. Walked around the street and came back. And I don't even know what this would have been. But look at how big it is.
Yeah,
and I live in the city, so I don't know what that is.
Yeah, your dad's wanting you to know that's from him. That's a gift from him, and that he got the message, but he wanted to gift you. So he's just acknowledging that. Did you go to Colorado, or are you planning on going to Colorado?
I used to go to Colorado all the time skiing.
Yeah, they're acknowledging like sometimes going back to some of the things that really gave us the most amount of joy, where we had the greatest memories, will help us to heal. And they're like, you're not alone. Stop it. You're not alone. You need to push yourself forward and bring back some of the things that we had fun doing.
I visited my daughter in Calgary, and for the first time I saw the Rockies in like 20 years.
Yeah.
Sorry, 40 years, whatever. I'm trying to forget how old I am. And I cried, and I was like bawling, and I said, like, I didn't even realize this was going to move me like it did. And she's like, that's why I wanted to be driving. And it was the Rockies, right? But in Canada, not the States.
Yeah, because they go all the way up there. Yeah, they're wanting to push you to do more of these adventures and do more of this stuff because they're acknowledging like you only live once, and they're like some of the things they would have done, they totally would have done it differently had
they took me to the Rockies.
Yeah, that makes sense. So have more adventures. They're with you. They also did show up in your daughter's stream, so just FYI to let her know.
Okay, thank you so much, Ferny. Oh
You're
my
welcome,
God,
sweetheart.
that was amazing.
You're welcome, sweetheart. You take care of yourself.
Take care.
All right, let's see. Let's go to Laura. Let's see. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So try one person. Let's try somebody else. Here. Let's do Natalie. Hey, Natalie, I'm coming for you. Oh. Natalie, Barry Alt, 91. I'm requesting to decline. Natalie, you decline me? What? Oh, now it's a vendetta. I'm gonna try you again. So I'm gonna try you back. If I don't see you in here in the next few moments, I'll just move on, and then I'll try you back again. Okay? Let's see if I can get you back on here. Oh, there. Where you at? I'm not seeing you. Okay, let's try. Um, let's try Lindsay here. Girl, Ducky Houston, I'm coming for you. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, sweetheart. How you doing?
Hi. Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What did you want to ask me?
Just seeing if my sister or I have any messages from my oldest sister or our mom that passed away.
Mm-hmm. There's three females. Does your mom have a sister that's also passed?
No.
Okay. There's a sister. This is the mom. There's a third female. Sister, 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 sister. The older. This is either a sister figure to your mom or a sister figure to your sister, to your oldest sister. Do y'all or your sister have a friend that's passed? A female friend or female person that's passed to them?
My mom's best friend was like her sister, and
Okay.
she died very
Okay.
close to the same time she died.
Got it. Okay. This is probably who this might be. I'm seeing cancer twice. Did both of them actually have cancer?
Yes,
That's
the
it.
same one. Oh
Yeah,
my God.
so they're acknowledging that. So they're coming through together because they're using their connection with what happened and with their love for each other to come through together. So they're making me aware of this. They're also acknowledging, thank you. Your mom, did y'all used to go to this place that was like a lake or it's like an open, it almost reminds me like a big lake, and y'all used to go when y'all were kids or when y'all were younger? Do you remember that? There was a playground right around there.
Hmm. There's a lake that we grew up around, but as far as a playground, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay, because I'm seeing swings, and that's just like a tire that goes into the lake. But I'm thinking it's just like like swings there as well. Because I feel like she's acknowledging this lake being around that when y'all were kids. So if y'all grew up around a lake, she might be acknowledging that. There's a playground. There's like I don't know if this is a football field or a school or a playground. There's something that she's making a reference to this thing when y'all were younger, because there's a reference to this. So you might have to think about that.
Hello.
She's also she just said gypsy. Does someone have a nickname gypsy or someone known as gypsy, or is there a gypsy animal connection?
A gypsy animal.
Reason why
Not
I'm
that
asking, I once took in a stray black cat and we named her Gypsy. So that's why I'm thinking of gypsy, and that's where that's coming from for me. So she's bringing this up or she's acknowledging this.
No, but my little sister just brought home a cat.
Oh, is it black or a dark cat?
It's like a chocolate caramel color.
Okay. She might just be trying to name the cat Gypsy or saying the name of the cat, just name the cat Gypsy. But she might just be trying to give y'all a heads up or trying to give y'all some advice. Mom is acknowledging 4 pieces of jewelry. Do y'all have 4 pieces of jewelry that are connected to her?
I'm sure that we do.
Okay.
I'm sure that we do.
Because she's acknowledging that. She's also referencing, thank you. Okay. She's doing something funny and I'm not sure how to make sense of it. She's like showing me a bra and she's like wanting to make sure I see her bra, and she's like showing me the bra. So I'm like, what? So I don't know if she's trying to tell me that there's something about bras with mom or there's something about her breasts, but she's showing me this for some reason. So she's like wanting to almost like strap it on. So I don't know why she's showing it to me this way. So do you know if either mom, she's making, so 2 things that I want to think about this. I think about Madonna. Remember the Madonna with the cone bras? Like I'm seeing that. So I'm like, okay, what am I seeing here? I used to have an aunt. Her bra was like that as well. And I mean, we used to make fun of her because it was like Madonna's bra, you know, with the cone things. Your mom is making a point about something with this.
I think it's because she always was really large chested. It could be that, and then the same thing with my grandma. It was always just like a thing.
Okay.
Maybe, maybe not. I'm not entirely sure.
No, there's something else to it. There's something unless there's a picture of mom in her bra, but there's something else about her and her bra. But she's almost like it's a funny thing, but it's also it's like she, well. Because you know, if you're gonna jump out of a plane and you have a parachute, she's like strapping on her bra like it's like a parachute. So I don't know where. I mean, it's possible she could be saying that, but I think there may be something else. You might need to ask your sisters because she's just acknowledging something about this. She also is referencing the number 5, so either May or the 5th of a month is connected because she's acknowledging that. She's also
Yep.
talking about 2 dates in December aside from Christmas. So do you know there are 2 significant dates in December or on the 12th besides Christmas?
2
It's
dates significant
Yeah, it's
in
between
December.
Thanksgiving and Christmas because she's talking about 2 other dates of significance around that time.
So you're saying 2 dates significance between December and when?
And Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Well, the number 5 was my mom's birthday, and then we found out bad news on her birthday, and then which is, well, her birthday's in July, but it was on the 5th, and then my sister passed away in November,
Okay.
and then we had her celebration of life in November as well.
Got it. Okay. Because they were acknowledging those 2 dates right around that time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So they're acknowledging that. She is not dropping this bra thing. I'm like, where is she going with this? Because she brought it back up. I'm like, we're done that. We've done that. Like, go to something else. Tell me something else. And she's bringing it back up. I don't know what she's trying to say about this special bra or like Wonder Bra. I don't know where she's going with this, but there's something that she's trying to make a point about, and it feels funny, and I'm totally missing the joke. But there's something about it.
Maybe it's something along the lines of that she could finally wear one. Because for the longest time we didn't have one on her just because of her being sick and stuff. I'm not entirely sure.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible. There's it just feels different than like a traditional bra, but I'll leave that there because I'm gonna see if she
My sister made a joke about my mom lose. I mean, she was trying to just poke some fun, but my sister said, "Mom, do you feel lighter?" And she's like, "Why?" And my mom never cussed, and she said, "Because your boobs look smaller." And she called her an ass. She's like, "Why would you think that my boobs would look smaller?" And it's because my sister said you lost weight in your boobs.
Okay, so
I don't know.
I mean, that's possible. That may be the joke, but there's a because she's strapping them on like she's like armor. So they're like her armor, or there's
Wow.
how I want to. She's putting it to me. She is also acknowledging a ring. Do you have a ring of hers?
Yes.
Okay, because she's acknowledging that. She also keeps acknowledging the picture. I don't know if it's a picture of you or one of you girls, and you had the Pippi Longstocking, braids. Do you remember Pippi Longstocking and the braids to the side, almost like that, like Cindy from the Brady Bunch?
Uh-huh.
Okay, because there's a picture, so she's acknowledging one of you having this picture or looking like this and it being funny. So she's just acknowledging that. She also keeps referencing there are 2 babies with her in spirit who either were miscarried, lost, or terminated. But she's acknowledging 2 babies with her as well. She's also talking about the four animals. I want to say that there's 3 dogs and 1 cat. So there are a lot of animals that are also there as well that she's wanting to acknowledge. One of the dogs, I want to say, is kind of like it has a schnauzer nose to it. So it's got like a schnauzer nose, but it's a little bit longer. So she's just showing me one of the dogs looking like that as well. She also, thank you, she forgives her father. Did she not have the easiest or best relationship with Dad?
Mm-mm.
She says she forgives him now, or she forgives him. So she's almost acknowledging that, and almost like it says weight off her chest. So she's acknowledging that. She also keeps acknowledging, thank you, white doves, white birds in particular are going to be connected to her. So white doves are going to be a sign from her, and also butterflies. But like they might just be white butterflies. So there's a reference to this like white. So she's acknowledging that as well. She's happy to be there. And she's not really holding back. Like, I'm happy to be here. Like I would rather be here than to be on Earth. So she's almost like she's just happy to be there.
Yeah.
Because she's like just like I was done. I was so done with the whole mess. So she's just acknowledging that as well. She's okay. She's fine. She's wanting to make this very clear. She may not have been a very lovey-dovey person with the way she spoke, but she is saying to tell everyone I love them and that I actually mean that. So even though she may have held back or not always been the most emotionally, she's wanting to make sure y'all hear her say, I love you, and I mean it. Okay.
Well, that's good and important. Can I ask you one question? So my sister is living in the house that my grandpa built. It's a family heirloom. And now we're being faced with something that we sort of knew could happen. Is my sister going to lose the house?
I want to say that it might look like that, but then there might be something done through a government entity, interestingly enough, that may actually help to prevent that from happening. So it might look like it, but I feel like coming around January, February, she might file something or do something to be able to protect she might actually file for bankruptcy or, yeah, so there might be some sort of filing that might protect the property or be able to protect it. But I feel like it'll happen in early 2021.
Okay.
So I'm thinking you will still keep the house. Y'all will still be able to keep the house.
All right.
All right, sweetheart. You take care of yourself.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I think I have time for one more before I got to get on to the study group. Let's see. Let's do Kira. Let's do Kira.
Hey, Ferny.
Hey, boo boo. How you doing?
Fine, you.
I'm good. I'm good. What do you want to ask me?
Um, what will my next job be? Because I know you said this job was only going to be 3 months, and it is starting to get a little hectic.
Yeah. The next job, I almost feel like you may start the next job on November the 1st, like literally like the first of the month. So I'm thinking you might be getting close to that time frame. I feel like the next job has to do with it's a security position, but you're not a security guard, but it's some sort of security position. So it's got to do with either security company or some sort of company that deals with security systems.
hmm Oh, and one more question. My oldest child, for some reason, her hair is like I haven't grown like since a baby. It's like been the same length. Do you ever see her hair growing?
She's got a deficiency in folate. So if you can
Foley?
increase, yeah, I feel like she's got a deficiency in folate. And I think it's a necessary ingredient too. You can find, I mean, natural sources of folate are like in brown rice. I think there's some in eggs. I think there's some in eggs. But I feel like she's got a deficiency. So she just isn't consuming enough of something to kind of get her hair to grow. And I think that's the problem there. So if you look into like folate and foods that are high in folate, if she starts to increase that, you may start to see growth within a 2 to 3 month period.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ferny.
You're welcome, Mama. You take care of yourself.
You too.
All right, let's see. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, we're good. Yay.
Yeah, I didn't think I would get chosen.
Well, what did you want to ask me? You got less than 2 minutes. So what did you want to ask me?
Okay, well, first of all, where do you see my career going?
I feel like what's going on right now, or your current career path, is just, it doesn't feel like it's going to do enough in the next 7 or 8 months. And so I think what's going to happen is by next summer, you're going to basically kind of rework your plan. And I think at that point, you might consider either going solo or partner up with someone in a way where you would be able to have more opportunities. I keep seeing the real estate market. Does the work that you do have anything to do with real estate or properties?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, there might be an opportunity that comes up with a partnership or something that has to do with real estate or something at that time. It may be completely disconnected from your work job, but it may be another opportunity to earn income or revenue.
Okay.
I don't see you with the same organization or the same company. I feel like you're going to make a change. You might start looking for something next year, but I feel like you'll only continue to do that for till the end of next year, and then at the end of next year, you kind of started off in a new direction.
Okay. Do you see any kind of, I don't know, like any spirits with me or?
There's a female, an older female. I want to say she might be connected to your mom's side of the family. Her name starts with an L. I want to say it's either Lily or Luz or Lulu. Do you know there's an L female on your mom's side of the family?
I'm really trying to think here. Well, my grandmother just passed away, but her name was Juanita. Maybe
No,
not.
no, no. This is an L name. So this is a female L name. We're going to pop back on here in a second because, so jump back into the room when I get back on here because we're not done because there's no way I can finish this fast.
Yeah.
But there's an L name. So there's like a Louisa or a Luz or there's an L female name that they're wanting to give me. I'm thinking it's your mom's side of the family, but it might be the other side and I'm totally off. We'll come back in a second because it's about to jump. Where you at, mama? Where are you at? Oh, let's see. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Cut. Let's see. Oh, let's see. Not yet. Not yet. Let's see. Wait for her, and then I will. Oh. Did you get back on? Did you get back on? I don't see you. Oh, I think I see you now. I think I see you now. Come on. Let's see. Is she request? Is she request? Ah, never mind. There you are. I hope this is the right person. Because if it's not, then I totally just. Okay, I was like, I hope it's the right person. Because I was like, wait a minute, I forgot what she looked like when I remembered the nose funny thing. So, okay. Okay, what I was saying is it's like Luz or Liz, or it's an L female name that's connected somehow to the family. It may not be someone that's alive, it may be someone that's living. But there's an L connection that's like Luz or Liz or Lulu or Lou sounding name. Do you know of anyone with that name?
I'm really gonna have to think about it because I do have. I mean, I have my aunt. Her name's Liliana, but she doesn't live here with me. Like she lives in Dallas.
Okay,
But
but you have an aunt named Liliana, and she's still alive, right?
yes,
Okay, is this your mom's sister?
yes,
Got it. Okay, so okay, and your mom is still alive?
yes,
Got it. But your grandmother, your mom's mom, is passed?
yes.
Got it. I think I got your mom's mom coming through. So I think your grandmother is trying to come through and she's trying to make her presence known. First of all, she's doing this. Was she very religious? So she had a very strong faith, your grandmother, your mom's mom?
She did. Yes.
Okay, because she's doing this. She also keeps acknowledging, thank you. She also keeps acknowledging, was she not was she kind of strict or could she be like this, your grandma, your mom's mom?
She could have been. She could have been, but we
Okay.
didn't actually like grow up with her. But we kind of came around her towards the end.
Okay. Okay, because she's doing this, so she makes me feel like almost like she was not like she was a tough mom. So she like expected it a lot, or she like expected a lot because she's wanting to acknowledge that. She also could be a little bit too critical. Do you know if your mom mentioned she and her mom not having the best relationship, or sometimes your grandmother being critical or kind of criticizing her?
I want to say yes. Yes.
Okay, because your mom is acknowledging that your grandmother is wanting to acknowledge this for your mom. So she's wanting to apologize for your mom and wanting to acknowledge that she's sorry she may have come across too critical or she may have made her feel bad. Was your mom not there when she passed because she's putting her hand over her mouth?
She was there.
Okay, whenever they do that, it means I couldn't talk or I wasn't able to say goodbye. Now, if your mom was there, were you there?
No, I wasn't
Okay.
there.
She might just be acknowledging you not being there or being present for her passing, but she's just acknowledging that and making reference to that. She's talking about the other sister. Do you have another sister?
I do.
Okay. She's probably trying to say hello to your other siblings or to your other sister. She also keeps referencing, thank you. Do you expect a lot from the people you're in relationships with?
Probably.
Okay.
Probably.
Can we call you an alpha? You kind of have to run the show or be in control?
Yes.
Here's the thing. Your grandmother wants to give you some advice. because she's almost acknowledging that sometimes you're too hard on the people you're with, or you expect too much, or you kind of like can get a little bit intimidating. And she says you need to be more docile or be more submissive. Now, I completely disagree with her because I'm like, no, like we're moving into the 22nd century. We're not going backwards. But she's very much like you kind of have to let others take charge sometimes, or let them feel like they have enough power or say they don't feel disempowered. So she's almost trying to tell you you need to calm down a little bit and not be so pushy or not be so controlling sometimes, because you can get into that mode. So she's wanting to let you know that. She also talks about the 2 babies. Do you have any children?
I do. I have 2.
Okay, she's acknowledging your 2 children, so she's referencing that, specifically being a bit controlling with your kids as well. So she's almost wanting to acknowledge that you kind of need to let them, like, you know, become their own people. I think it's funny because, like, especially when she's acknowledging, like, not, you know, sometimes she could have issues with the daughters or with the kids, but she's almost like wanting to give you props or acknowledge that you're a good mother and that your prayers are answered. She also said, did you not stay with the father of your children?
No, we're still together. We're just married. Yeah.
You need to, yeah, y'all need to. So she's probably trying to give you advice so that it can help y'all get stronger, or help y'all have a stronger relationship, or just get a little bit better at communicating or understanding each other. Because she's just acknowledging this like disconnect or something there that needs to be worked on and needs to be improved. Because she's making reference to that as well. Is there also a Julia or Julio name?
I do have an uncle named Julio.
Okay, is he still alive?
He's still alive.
Got it. Yeah. So they're just you've got a bunch of grandparents that are in spirit, and they're just wanting to acknowledge the people that are here. You had asked me about one person in the beginning. Who did you want me to connect with? Because I totally forgot that.
Well, basically, it was more about like my career, but I just wanted to know like if
There was anybody in spirit. Okay, yeah, I thought you had somebody else there. There is one other person that I want to let in for a second. There's a male who passed away suddenly or unexpectedly to your side. So this would be like friend, cousin, brother, brother-in-law, coworker, cousin, etc. to the side. I want to say he had a heart attack, or he had something happen with his heart, because it's making me feel this way. He passed suddenly or unexpectedly, and it may have been while he was driving or on the road.
Okay, I really got to think about that one, because nobody really comes in mind right now. But I do have to.
Yeah, it may, like I said, it may not have been family. It could be like it's to your side, so it's going to be on that level that might be connected to you. But this male is just wanting to say hello. He acts like he knows you, so I want to say this guy knows you, because he's almost like, hey, like he's almost like excited or happy to see you, but he's like, hey, so he's almost like awkward, like that's the way he's being. So it's kind of funny the way he's being. I'm like, okay. Do you know anyone who worked for either AT&T or or Xfinity or one of these companies that are like a telecommunications company?
Not current. Actually, my cousin's ex-wife does. Correct.
Okay. There's something about this person that they're bringing up, this connection to like working for a company like that, AT&T, or a cell phone company, or something to do with telecommunications. But there's something there because he's attaching himself to that. He was on the road when he had a heart attack, or he had some issue come up, because I feel like people thought he died in the accident, when in fact he actually had died with a heart attack before the accident.
Heart attack. Okay.
Yeah. So find out who this is. If you ask your husband, maybe he might know who this is as well. But if you ask, there's a connection there. He's just wanting to say hello, and that he's like there as well. So he's just wanting to like take up space for some reason.
Okay, Ferny, and before we get off, so you definitely do not see like a job advancement in my current position?
I feel like the options where you currently are going to be limited, and you're just going to consider a different route or a different option. I think you might even take a 1 to 2 year break from the field, and you may just decide to do something else, and then there may be an opportunity that comes back around that actually works much better for you. But there may be like a 2 year break or 2 year period before that happens.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sweetheart. All right, my love. You take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. That is all for the readings. So, looking here, see my friends. So that's all for the readings, y'all. So now we're going to do the study group, but I just wanted to finish that up just to finish her session, because I totally ran out of time there. So, all right, so if y'all been following along, on Fridays we do Many Lives, Many Masters, so that's the book that we work on. Kendall won't be on today because he's got some other things to do, so it's just going to be me again. So it's going to be me reading the chapter and breaking it down and kind of going through it with you guys. So for those of you who are still like hanging on, hoping that I'm going to do more readings, I'm not. So I will be back next Wednesday for readings on the live on Instagram next Wednesday. So now we are doing the study group. So Many Lives, Many Masters, guys, check it out. It's a really great book. We're actually like getting to the end part here. So we're getting close to the last part of it. But let me see. There's my sticker. What's the sticker? Oh, there it is. So the last, yeah, we're in chapter 10, y'all. So we are on chapter 10 of Many Lives, Many Masters. So I'm going to read it. And if y'all have something you want to add or you have something you want to ask regarding like the topic, you can go ahead and ask that. We're on chapter 10, which I think it's page 130. So 130, chapter 10. If you have the physical book, I don't know if it's the same page number on the like apps and stuff like that. So if you want to ask me questions about the topic, feel free to ask me about the topic, or if you want to ask about the specific chapter that we're going to read through, that's fine as well. So let me start. All right. So as we left off, so Dr. Brian Weiss he's basically sharing his own like journey through this and his experiences with Catherine, which is the woman that he's been hypnotically regressing and putting into an altered state. So whenever she starts to remember, he puts her into this altered state of consciousness, or he puts her into a hypnosis session, and she goes into this hypnosis session, and then she begins to relive a past life memory. So she goes back into certain periods in her life, in her previous lifetimes as well, and she brings up these memories of her living as a different person or having different experiences, etc. So. All right, so this is Dr. Weiss. The week passed quickly. I had listened over and over again to the tape of last week's session. How was I approaching the state of renewal? I did not feel particularly enlightened, and now spirits would be sent back to help me. But what was I supposed to do? When would I find out? Would I be up to the task? I knew I must wait and be patient. I remembered the words of the poet master, patience and timing. Everything comes when it must come. Everything will be clear to you in time. But you must have a chance to digest the knowledge that we have given to you already. So I would wait. At the beginning of this session, Catherine related a fragment of a dream she had had several nights ago. In the dream, she was living in her parents' house, and a fire had broken out during the night. She was in control, helping to evacuate the house, but her father was dawdling and seemingly indifferent to the urgency of the situation. She rushed him outside. Then he remembered something he had left in the house, and he sent Catherine back into the raging fire to retrieve the object. She could not remember what it was. I decided not to interpret the dream yet, but to wait and see if the opportunity would arise while she was hypnotized. She quickly entered a deep hypnotic trance. I see a woman with hood over her head, not covering her face, just on her hair. Then she was silent. Can you see that now? The hood? I lost it. I see some type of black material, brocade material with a gold design on it. I see a building with some type of structural points on it, white. Do you recognize the building? No. Is it a large building? No. There's a mountain in the background with some snow on the top of it, but the grass is green in the valley where we're at. Are you able to go into the building? Yes. It's made of some type of marble, very cold to the touch. Is it some sort of temple or religious building? I don't know. I thought it might be a prison. Prison? I repeated. Are there people in the building around it? Yes, some soldiers. They have black uniforms, black with gold shoulder pads, gold tassels hanging off, black helmets with some type of gold, something pointed and gold on the top of the helmet, and a red sash around the waist. Are there any soldiers around you? Maybe 2 or 3. Are you there? I'm somewhere, but I'm not in the building, but I'm nearby. Look around, see if you can find yourself. The mountains are there, and the grass and the white building. Are there other buildings too? If there are other buildings, they're not situated near this one. I see one, isolated, with some type of wall built behind it. A wall. Do you think it's a fort or a prison or something like that? It might be, but it's very isolated. Why is that important to you? Long pause. Do you know the name of the town or country where you are, where the soldiers are? I keep seeing Ukraine. Ukraine, I repeated, fascinated by the diversity of her lifetimes. Do you see a year? Does that come to you, or a period of time? 17. 17, she answered hesitantly, then corrected herself. 1758. 1758. Where there are many soldiers. I don't know what their purpose is, with long swords that curve. What else do you see in here? I inquired. I see a fountain where they water the horses. Do the soldiers ride horses? Yes. Are the soldiers known by any other name? Do they call themselves anything special? She listened. I don't hear that. Are you among them? No. Her answers were again a child's short and often monosyllabic. I think that's the word. I had to be a very active interviewer. But you're seeing them nearby? Yes. Are you in the town? Yes. Do you live there? I believe so. Good. See if you can find yourself and where you live. I see some very ragged clothes. I see just a child, a boy. His clothes are ragged. He's cold. Does he have a home in the town? There was a long pause. I don't see that, she continues. She seemed to be having some difficulty connecting with this lifetime. She was somewhat vague in her answers, somehow unsure. Okay, do you know the boy's name? No. What happens to the boy? Go with him. See what happens. Someone he knows is a prisoner. A friend, a relative? I believe it's his father. Her answers were brief. Are you the boy? I'm not sure. Do you know how he feels about his father being in prison? Yes. He's very afraid they might kill him. What has his father done? He has stolen something from the soldiers, some papers or something. The boy doesn't understand completely. No, he might never see his father again. Can he get to see his father at all? No. Do they know for how long his father will be in the prison or if he will live? No. She answered, her voice quivered. She was very upset, very sad. She was not providing much detail, yet she was visibly agitated by the events she was witnessing and experiencing. You can feel what the boy is feeling, I went on. That kind of fear and anxiety, do you feel it? Yes. Again, she was silent. What happens? Go ahead in time now. I know it's hard. Go ahead in time. Something happens. His father was executed. How does he feel now? It was for something he never did, but they execute people for no reason at all. The boy must be very upset about this. I don't believe he understands fully what has happened. Does he have other people to turn to? Yes, but his life will be very hard. What becomes of the boy? I don't know. He will probably die. She sounded so sad. She was again silent, then seemed to be looking around. What are you seeing? I see a hand closing around something, white. I don't know what it is. She fell silent again, and minutes passed. What else do you see? I asked. Nothing. Darkness. She had either died or somehow disconnected from the sad boy who lived in the Ukraine more than 200 years ago. Have you left the boy? Yes, she whispered. She was resting. What did you learn from the lifetime? Why was it important? People cannot be judged hastily. You have to be fair with someone. Many lives were ruined by being hasty in our judgments. The boy's life was short and hard because of that judgment against his father. Yes, she was silent again. Are you seeing something else now? Do you hear anything? No. Again, there was a brief answer and then silence. For some reason, this brief lifetime had been particularly grueling. I gave her instructions to rest. Rest. Feel peacefulness. Your body is healing itself. Your soul is resting. Are you feeling better? Rested? It was difficult for the little boy, very hard, but now you're resting again. Your mind can take you to other places, other times, other memories. Are you resting? Yes. I decided to pursue the dream fragment about the burning house, her father's unconcerned dawdling, and his sending her back into the conflagration in order to retrieve something of his. I have a question now about the dream you had with your father. You can remember it now. It's safe. You're in a deep trance. Do you remember? Yes. You went back into the house to get something. Do you remember that? Yes, it was a metal box. What was in it that he wanted so badly to send you back into a burning house? His stamps and his coins that he saves. She answered. Her detailed recollection of the dream content under hypnosis contrasted dramatically with her sketchy recall while awake. Hypnosis was a powerful tool, not only providing access to the most remote, hidden areas of the mind, but also allowing a much more detailed memory. Were his stamps and coins very important to him? Yes. But to risk your life to go back into a burning house just for stamps and coins? She cut me off. He didn't think he was risking it. He thought it was safe. Yes. Then why didn't he go back instead of you? Because he thought I could go faster. I see. Was there a risk to you, though? Yes, but he didn't realize that. Was there more meaning to that dream for you about your relationship with your father? I don't know. He didn't seem to be in much of a hurry to get out of the burning house. No. Why was he so leisurely? You were fast. He saw the danger. Because he tries to hide from things. I seize this moment to interpret part of the dream. Yes, it's an old pattern of his, and you do things for him, like fetching the box. I hope he can learn from you. I have a feeling that the fire represents time running out, that you realize the danger and that he doesn't. While he dawdles and sends you back for material objects, you know much more and have much to teach him, but he doesn't seem to want to learn. No, she agreed, he doesn't. That's how I see the dream, but you can't force him. Only he can realize this. Yes, she agreed again, and her voice became deep and husky. It is unimportant that our bodies get burned in fires, and if we don't need them, a master spirit had shed an entirely different perspective on the dream. I was surprised at this sudden entrance, and I could only parrot back the thought. We don't need our bodies. Oh, I'm sorry. He's asking the question. We don't need our bodies? No. We go through so many stages when we're here. We shed a baby body, go into a child's, from child to an adult into old age. Why shouldn't we go one step beyond and shed the adult body and go on to a spiritual plane? That is what we do. We don't just stop growing, we continue to grow. When we get to the spiritual plane, we keep growing there too. We go through different stages of development. When we arrive, we're burnt out. We have to go through a renewal stage, a learning stage, and a stage of decision. We decide when we want to return, where, and for what reasons. Some choose not to come back. They choose to go on to another stage of development, and they stay in spirit form. Some for longer than others before they return. It is all growth and learning, continuous growth. Our body is just a vehicle for us while we're here. It is our soul and our spirit that lasts forever. I did not recognize the voice or style. A new master was speaking, and speaking of important knowledge. I wanted to know more about these spiritual realms. It's learning in the physical state. Is learning in the physical state faster? Are there reasons that people don't all stay in the spiritual state? No. Learning in the spiritual state is much faster, far accelerated from that in the physical state. But we choose what we need to learn. If we need to come back to work through a relationship, we come back. If we are finished with that, we go on. In spiritual form, you can always contact those that are in a physical state if you choose to, but only if there is importance there. If you have to tell them something that they must know. How do you make contact? How does the message come through? To my surprise, Catherine answered. Her whisper was faster and firmer. Sometimes you can appear before that person and look the same way you did when you were here. Other times you just make a mental contact. Sometimes the messages are cryptic, but most often the person knows what it pertains to. They understand. It's mind-to-mind contact. I spoke to Catherine. The knowledge that you have now, this information, this wisdom, which is very important. Why is it not accessible to you when you are awake and in the physical state? I guess I wouldn't understand it. I'm not capable of understanding it. Then perhaps I can teach you to understand it, so that it doesn't frighten you and so that you learn. Yes. When you hear the voices of the masters, they say things similar to what you are telling me now. You must share a great deal of information. I was intrigued at the wisdom she possessed when she was in this state. Yes, she replied simply. And this comes from your own mind? But they have put it there. So she gave the credit to the masters. Yes, I acknowledged. How do I best communicate it back to you so that you grow and lose your fears? You have already done that, she answered softly. She was right. Her fears were nearly gone. Once the hypnotic regression had begun, her clinical progress had been incredibly rapid. What lessons do you need to learn now? What is the most important thing you can learn during this lifetime so that you can continue to grow and prosper? Trust, she answered quickly. She had known what her principal task was. Trust. I repeated, surprised by the quickness of her retort. Yes, I must learn to have faith, but also to trust people. I don't. I think everybody is trying to do evil to me. That makes me stay away from people and situations that I probably shouldn't stay away from. It's keeping me with other people that I should break away from. Her insight was tremendous when she was in the superconscious state. She knew her weaknesses and her strengths. She knew the areas that needed attention and work, and she knew what to do to improve matters. The only problem that these insights needed to reach her conscious mind and needed to be applied to her waking life. Superconscious insight was fascinating, but by itself it was not enough to transform her life. Who are these people to break away from? I asked. She paused. I'm afraid of Becky. I'm afraid of Stuart. And somehow harm will come to me from them. Can you break away from that? Not completely, but from some of their ideas, yes. Stuart is trying to keep me in prison, and he is succeeding. He knows that I'm afraid. He knows I'm afraid to be away from him, and he uses that knowledge to keep me with him. And Becky? She's constantly trying to break down my faith in the people that I have faith in. When I see good, she sees evil, and she tries to plant those seeds in my mind. I'm learning to trust people I should trust, but she fills me with doubts about them, and that's her problem. I can't let her make me think her way. In her superconscious state, Catherine was able to pinpoint major character flaws in both Becky and Stuart. The hypnotized Catherine would make an excellent psychiatrist, empathic and unerringly intuitive. The awake Catherine did not possess these attributes. It was my task to bridge the gulf. Her dramatic clinical improvement meant that some of this was seeping through. I attempted more bridge building. Who can you trust? I asked. Think about it. Who are the people you can trust and learn from and get closer to? Who are they? I can trust you, she whispered. I knew this, but I knew she needed to trust people in her everyday life even more. Yes, yes, you can. You are close to me, but you must get closer to the other people in your life, too. People who can be with you when more than I can. I wanted her to be complete and independent, not dependent on me. I can trust my sister. I don't know the others. I can trust Stuart, but only to a certain extent. He does care about me, but he's confused. In his confusion, he unknowingly is doing me harm. Yes, it is true. Is there another man that you can trust? I can trust Robert, she answered. He was another physician in the hospital. They were good friends. Yes, maybe there are still more for you to meet in the future. Yes, she conceded. The idea of future knowledge was distractingly intriguing. She had been so accurate about the past. She, through the masters, had known specific secret facts. Could they also know facts from the future? If so, could we share this foreknowledge? 1,000 questions burst into my mind. When you find contact with your superconscious mind, like now, and have this wisdom, do you also develop abilities in the psychic realm? Is it possible for you to look into the future? We have done much in the past. That is possible, she conceded, but I see nothing now. It is possible, I echoed. I believe so. Can you do this without being frightened? Can you go into the future and obtain information of a neutral sort that will not be frightening to you? Can you see the future? Her answer was swift. I don't see that. They will not allow it. I knew she meant the masters. Are they around you now? Yes. Are they talking to you? No. They monitor everything. So being monitored, she was not permitted to peer into the future. Perhaps we had nothing to gain personally from such a glimpse. Perhaps the adventure would have made Catherine too anxious. Perhaps we were not yet prepared to cope with this information. I did not push it. The spirit that was around you before, Gideon? Yes. What does he need? Why is he near? Do you know him? No, I don't believe so. But he protects you from danger? Yes. The masters? I don't see them. Sometimes they have messages for me, messages that help you, and help me. Are these messages available to you even when they're not speaking? Do they put thoughts in your mind? Yes. Do they monitor how far you can go, what you can remember? Yes. So there is a purpose in the explanation of lifetimes. Yes. For you and for me to teach us, to bring us the disappearance of fear. There are many ways of communication. They choose many to show that they exist. Whether Catherine was hearing their voices, visualizing past images and vistas, experiencing psychic phenomena, or having thoughts and ideas placed in her mind, the purpose was the same, to show that they exist, and even beyond that, to help us, to aid us on our path by providing insights and knowledge to help us become godlike through wisdom. Do you know why they have chosen you? No. To be a channel? This is a delicate question, since the awake Catherine could not even listen to the tapes. No, she softly whispered. Do they frighten you? Sometimes. And other times not? Yes. It can be reassuring, I added. We know now that we are eternal, so we lose our fear of death. Yes, she agreed. She paused. I must learn to trust. She had returned to her lifetime's major lesson. When I'm told something, I must learn to trust what I am told, when the person is knowledgeable. Certainly, there are people not to trust, I added. Yes, but I'm confused, and the people I know I should trust, I fight against that feeling, and I don't want to trust anybody. She was silent, and I again admired her insight. Last time we talked about you as a child in a garden with horses. Do you remember your sister's wedding? A little. Was there more to gather from that time? Do you know? Yes. Would it be worthwhile to go back now and explore it? It wouldn't come back now. There are so many things in a lifetime. There is so much knowledge to attain from each lifetime. Yes, we must explore, but it won't come back now. So I turned again to her troubled relationship with her father. Your relationship with your father is another area, one that has affected you deeply in this life. Yes, she answered simply. It is another area to explore, yet too. You've had much to learn from this relationship. Compare it to the little boy in the Ukraine who lost his father at an early age. And this loss did not happen to you this time. And yet having your father here, even through certain hardships, were less. Was more of a burden, she concluded. Thoughts? She added, thoughts? What thoughts? I sensed she was in a new area about the anesthesia. When they give you anesthesia, they can hear you. You can still hear? She had answered her own question. She was whispering rapidly now, becoming excited. Your mind is very much aware of what's going on. They were talking about my choking, about the possibility of me choking when they did the surgery on my throat. I remembered Catherine's vocal cord surgery, which was performed just a few months before her first appointment, with me. She had been anxious prior to the surgery, but she was absolutely terrified upon awakening in the recovery room. It had taken the nursing staff hours to calm her. Now it appeared that what was said by the surgeons during the operation, during the time she was under deep anesthesia, had precipitated her terror. My mind flipped back to medical school and my surgery rotation. I remembered the casual conversations during operations, while the patients were anesthetized. I remember the jokes, the cursing, the arguments, and the surgeon's temper tantrums. What had the patients heard at a subconscious level? How much registered to affect their thoughts and emotions, their fears and anxieties after they had awakened? Was the post-operative course, the patient's very recovery from the surgery, influenced positively or negatively by the remarks made during the operation? Had anyone died because of the negative expectations overheard during surgery? Had they, feeling hopeless, just given up? Do you remember what they were saying? I asked. That they had to put a tube down. When they took the tube out, my throat might swell up. They didn't think I could hear. But you did? Yes. That's why I had all the problems. After today's session, Catherine no longer had any fear of swallowing or choking. It was as simple as that. All the anxiety, she continued. I thought I would choke. Do you feel free? I asked. Yes, you can reverse what they did. Can I? Yes, you are. They should be very careful of what they say. I remember it now. They put a tube in my throat, and then I couldn't talk afterward to tell them anything. Now you're free. You did hear them. Yes, I heard them talk. She fell silent for a minute or two, then began to turn her head from side to side. She seemed to be listening to something. Yes, she seemed to be hearing messages. Do you know where that message came from? I was hoping the masters would appear. Someone told me, was her cryptic answer. Somebody was speaking to you, but they're gone? I try to bring them back. See if you can bring back the spirits with messages for us to help us out. They came only when they come only when they want to, not when I choose, she answered firmly. You don't have any control over it? No. Okay, I conceded, but the message about the anesthesia was very important to you. That was the source of your choking. It was important for you, not me, she retorted. Her answer reverberated through my mind. She would be cured of the terror of choking, yet this revelation was nevertheless more important for me than for her. I was the one doing the healing. Her simple answer contained many levels of meaning. I felt that if I truly understood these levels, these resonating octaves of meaning, I would advance a quantum leap into the understanding of human relationships. Perhaps the helping was more important than the cure. For me to help you, I asked? Yes. You can undo what they did. You have been undoing what they did. She was resting. We had both learned a great lesson. Shortly after her 3rd birthday, my daughter Amy came running over to me, hugging me around the legs. She looked up and said, Daddy, I've loved you for 40,000 years. I looked down at her little face and I felt very, very happy. So that's chapter 10. So with this, it's interesting because like, she's like, he's trying to like take her back into her past life and trying to go in and ask all these questions and so forth. And just by having the memories come up and by having all of that information kind of accessible to her, she's able to start to release and reduce some of her traumas and some of the things that have held her back, or some of the things that are not allowing her to be able to move forward in her life. So it's interesting because it's almost a part of the healing process for her. But at the same time, he's like, this is supposed to be for me. I'm supposed to be the one healing. So he's almost acknowledging how this is like a dual type scenario where it's not just about her, it's also about him as well. He just wants to talk to the masters because the masters seem to have all of this knowledge and insight. And she's like, bouncing back around into different lifetimes, which is kind of irritating or annoying to say the least, because I can see that. I'd be like, if I were working on somebody and I was like trying to take them through a past life memory and they're bouncing around, I was like, oh shit, like, where are you going? What are you doing? What do you need to be working on, right? So that's the feeling that I have when I read that part of it as well. So what do you guys think about that? What do you guys questions? What do you guys think about that? Let's see, go through this. Lizzie was like, Dr. Weiss sends his patients to Dr. Kaur for continuation therapy. What's continuation therapy? I've never heard of continuation therapy. I mean, I can take a guess and I can assume that I have an idea of what continuation therapy is. But Dr. Weiss, I can see only him handing over some of the see him handing over the clients, and I think now exclusively he only deals with like past life regressions, and he focuses on like the work in the broader range, where he works with groups of people, or he works with courses and etc. We're teaching others to be therapists as well. So I think that's what he does most of his work in now. So. Oh, cool. Lizzie was telling us, she was like, I have my past life session this morning. It was interesting. I expected something different, but it was great to say the least. Ironically, Dr. Weiss is good friends of the person I had my session with, Dr. Shelley Carr. That's awesome. That's pretty awesome. Dr. Weiss has trained a lot of people, so it's interesting for some of the people that he's trained to have become friends with, or to have gotten connected with in that way. When I first went in for a past life regression as well, I went in for one reason. I was trying to understand the psychic ability that I possessed and why there were, because this was really early on in my development. I was like just in the very beginning stages of doing this work. And so I didn't fully understand or grasp the entirety of why I was so pulled and drawn into doing this work, because I felt like this is the work I was supposed to be doing. And then I wanted to find out. And I went back into a time, and because I was going back in, and there was I walked down, the woman who was regressing me, she walked me into this visual, and I was walking down a hallway, and there were several doors, and I was supposed to pick a door that I felt the most pull towards. So I did. I picked a door, walked through it, and as soon as I walked through, I knew I was in a different time. I knew I was in a different place. It all kind of like materialized in my mind, almost like a memory that's kind of like when you like peel back the onions and you can see more clearly. It kind of felt like that. And I walked into this area, and it felt like this big open space. It reminded me, excuse me, sorry, I'm getting a little tired here. It reminded me of a tent, like a circus tent, but it wasn't a tent. It was like a fabric type of place. It was like a fabric building or a fabric thing. But there was like a lot of curtains and a lot of fabrics that were like kind of hanging. And it looked like a chemist shop, or some sort of like a place where they do, they mix chemicals or mix gunpowders and stuff like that. And when I walked in there, there was a lot of features that reminded me of it kind of reminded me of the period where you had the Maharaja, and you had, kings and queens and princesses. Aladdin, let's just say Aladdin. Remember the movie Aladdin? Okay, that's it. So it reminded me of some of the features and some of the aspects of that, because it felt very much like that. But I was supposed to, it wasn't like the Sultan or nothing like that. It was like a Maharaja, so it might have had more Indian influences or more of the culture of Indian influences. And I was a young boy in that lifetime, and there was an older man who was like he was the person that ran the shop, or he ran the entire area, and he was the one that was like the chemist, the head chemist or whatever. But we didn't call it chemistry. We didn't call it chemist, with the chemicals and all this. We didn't call it any of that. This was more. It was like I would say apothecary, or someone that is like an alchemist. So it was kind of like it felt like that. And our work, I was the apprentice to this older male. When I saw this older male, I immediately recognized him as my grandfather. And so I knew this was my grandpa or my grandfather in this lifetime. But in that lifetime, he was the master chemist, and I was the apprentice. And my job was to learn from him and learn everything, because we were kind of born into our positions. We were kind of born into those roles. And so I was supposed to learn everything from him. And then when he passed away or died, I would take over. And our responsibility was to mix things together. And so whenever we were going to be in the present, we were known as like priests, I guess you can call us like priests, but we were supposed to mix these things together. So when the king or the Maharaja was out in the public, we were supposed to cause all of these special effects to make it look like he had these magical powers and magical abilities, or he was divine. And so that was our work, that was our job. But I used to remember looking over, because we were in like a little bit higher up, and we could see down into where there was like a courtyard, or there was like the city or the town, and there was a temple there. And people used to come from all around, and they used to visit the temple. And at the temple, there were the yogis, or these what I call like wise men. They look like these wise older men. They look like yogis, the ones they just have like the wrap around their waist, but they're kind of like basically bare, naked, and then they've got like the white hairs. That's what they look like. And they were sitting down, kind of in like trance states or meditative states, and people would come from all around, and they would go up to them, and they would ask them for guidance, or they would ask them a question. And they were supposed to impart wisdom. And I think sometimes they even used to use like papyrus or paper, and they used to like create something, or it's like a special language or something like that. But they used to write whatever they needed to write on that, but they would give that to the person who would come. And the person would have to come with offerings. They would either offer food, or they'd offer, something else, whatever. And I used to see them, and people used to trust what they used to say, because they were the sages. They were what people used to go to. And I remember in that lifetime looking down and seeing that and thinking to myself, like, I felt like a fraud. I felt like I was a fraud, because I was supposed to be like the priest, or a priest to support the Maharaja and the king. And what we were doing was just special effects with like gunpowder or these mixes. There was actually no channeling that we were doing. We weren't doing any magic. We weren't doing any psychic work. There was none of that. We were just chemists using these special effects to make it seem like we had all this power. And so people would believe in us, but then you see these sages, they were actually channeling and bringing through knowledge, and they would pass it on to the people who would come to visit. So I remember seeing that like on a regular basis, and I always believed in that lifetime, I always believed that I was a fraud, and that I wasn't truly this like master, or this like priest or whatever. And so I would always wish and hope that I would one day not be a fraud, and that I would be an authentic, accurate seer or channel, or person who had this ability, the way that these sages have this ability. So that was part of that memory, that past lifetime. Of course, with my master passing away, I took over and I became the master, and then I took on an apprentice. And so that was the majority of that lifetime. There were some other things that happened in that lifetime, and other people that showed up as well. And my apprentice in that lifetime is now my partner in this lifetime. So this is who my partner is in this lifetime. So I took charge of him. He came to me as a little child. But it was an interesting life, to say the least. And coming into this life, now I understood why I had such a massive pull and a draw to want to go and do the spiritual work, and to do psychic work, and to be a medium, and to be a channel. Because in that lifetime, I wanted to so badly, and I felt like a fraud, and I wasn't able to. I didn't have that ability in that lifetime. In this lifetime, it was a whole different story. And so now it's like, okay, now I get to be that person, but in a very different way. But that's why I came in with that intense desire to be this way as well. Not only that, but I wanted to give people something so that they could make choices. I didn't want to make people dependent on me the way that they had become dependent on the priest in that lifetime. So for me in this lifetime, the work that I do, despite the fact that people come to me and they ask me questions and they wanted me to connect them with their loved ones, my main goal is to empower people. My main goal is to do whatever that I can do possible to empower people. because I truly believe that it's no one's place to take away someone's power, to take away someone's ability to choose for themselves, to take away someone's capacity for self-reliance. I don't believe in that. I believe that everyone should have the capability and the opportunity to be as strong and as empowered as they can be on their own. And so my job is just to give people those opportunities. Now, granted, they come to me because I can see things and I can feel things and I can grasp things in a way that is unique to my ability, my capability, but that's not what it's about. And that's the reason why I have rules when people come to see me for readings, because like if someone has a live reading, they're not allowed to come back for 6 months. If they do a mediumship session, they're not allowed to come back to me for a year, because I do not want people to become dependent on me for those things. And they will. They'll come to you every week or every few days because they are like, oh my God, you can answer all my questions. I never have to think for myself again. And I'm like, hell no, you need to think for yourself. I'm not here to think for you. I'm here to empower you, to let you know that it doesn't matter what you decide, you can make something out of anything that you choose for yourself, as long as you are lined up and synced up with the right energies. So let me go through some of these questions to see if you guys have any other questions before I get off here, because my voice is starting to crack a little bit. Betty says, do you think hypnosis works? Absolutely. 100% it works. I've done it several times, and every single time I've done it, something really interesting comes forward that clarifies a lot of things that I have. I've bought like sessions for like my sister, my friends. I've given gifts out to people for sessions. So 100% it works, as long as you have a really good hypnotherapist, because they're not all the same. But you have to find one that's really good. So yes, 100% they work. They work. You can look up, there's, if you're in Houston, depends on where you are, but I would look up, go just type in Dr. Brian Weiss, and I'm pretty sure he has, on his main site, he probably has a listing of all of the therapists that have been trained with him in your area. So you can pick your area, and then it'll show you who. I know in Houston, if you're in Houston, it's Melanie Harrell. She's the one that, the first person that I ever went to for hypnotherapy in Houston. She's really good. All right, guys, I think that is it. So. These are all psychic. These are all personal questions. Yeah, so I would give it a try, but you just have to go to the right person. I would also practice learning how to calm your mind, or just getting to a relaxed state where you can kind of get to kind of an in-between state. You know, the state where when you wake up in the morning, when you're still half asleep and you're kind of like in that in-between state, so you don't really want to wake up, but you're aware that you're there. That's what I'm talking about. That's the state you want to practice, because that can help you to get into a hypnosis session much more quickly. It's actually what I do when I do channeling with Aja, and I bring Aja through. So I take myself into that state, and I kind of step aside, and I let Aja come through and begin to communicate. So that's pretty much what I do. So, all right, guys, I love you all. I will be on here tomorrow. I'm not on Instagram, but on YouTube and Facebook, because tomorrow's our podcast night. So I will be on tomorrow night. And I think we got all the technical stuff down. So I think tomorrow should be the first actual podcast that should come out problem-free with technical issues, because I think we got it all worked out. So I'm looking forward to like bringing on a guest to talk about the topic that we're going to talk about. I don't know what we're talking about, because we don't really pick anything, we just start talking. So it'll be interesting to see what we talk about tomorrow, and who wants to come on as a guest, or the people who want to come on to converse with us. So I love you all, and I will see you all tomorrow if you're on the podcast. If not, I'll see you next Wednesday on Instagram and on YouTube and on Facebook.